Hi, I welcome you all to this session on payroll management. We are going to discuss some of the important info types. Okay. In the last session, we discussed the important wage types. Some of the that components of wage and salary we have discussed in the last sessions. And as a consultant, also we must support. We have two roles. One is configuration role, another is support role. Sometimes end user may ask for certain kind of assistance. Okay, regarding the maintenance of data and regarding that relating to payroll management. Here, that we as consultant, we have to help, we have to support the end users how to maintain certain kind of data so that his payroll process becomes easy. So these are the info types that we are going to discuss in this session, and the info types are related to payroll status, that is 0003, then 0580 580 to 88. These are all related to the income tax. Okay. So like previous employer details, housing details, leave, travel allowance, car and conveyance allowances. As per the policy of the company, different employees are entitled to different kinds of allowances. Okay. So these are the info types where these provisions are being maintained. Okay, income from other sources, maybe house rent. Okay, so then section 80 other than 80C, section 80C. So this is the info type that we have to 586 is the info types that is allotted to these are all standard info types. Okay, created by SAP. Then PF contributions 587, then 588 other statutory deductions, like we can talk about like employee state insurance, like kind of things. So these can be deducted. So this is actual payroll status. Okay, so this is actually it's a PA. We can use the command PA30, then we can use the input types, something that is called 0003, that is called payroll status. Payroll status, we can see the various components of payroll status, like payroll active accounting, then time evaluation, then other data, input data. Okay, initial input data. This initial input data is actually, this is the hiring date. Okay, this is the hiring date. This is the hiring date. So even if we can go for change also. Okay, we can go, if we are putting the change option, we can change it. Okay, so these dates can be changed, subject to change. So we must understand one important concept here, this retroactive accounting, payroll retroactive accounting. Okay, so what is this actually? Retro, what is the meaning of retro? Retro means reverse. Okay, retro means reverse. So sometimes this payroll has the implications to the past, like not this month, 1 month, it may have certain implication 2 3 4 months back. Suppose take for example, one person is getting promoted with effective from a month, that is 4 5 months back. Okay, that means he is going to get the revised salary. Okay, revised salary from 5 months back. In that case, it is being used. Okay, we have seen several scenario, like when different pay commissions, like 7 pay commissions was introduced by government of India. So even if the public sector undertakings went for implementations of this from a retroactive perspective. So and they were getting the current pay, or revised pay was given some 1 year or 2 year back as per the policy. Similarly, we have seen certain kind of scenario, like during COVID-19, like the companies paid certain normal pay without increment, but when things are getting normal, they are implementing the that increment and promotions with effective from a retroactive day. Okay, so this is the scenario actually where this retroactive pay can be used. Okay. Similarly, suppose take for example that we as employee, we are applying uh, the leave in the month of March, but our leave is not approved in this month. It is approved next month. As a result of which, suppose we have applied for 2 days leave in the month of March, so we are getting a lot of LOP for 2 days this month. Okay, so next month, what will happen in the month of April when the payroll is processed and leave is approved? So there is a retro effect here. Okay, so here what happens? Actually, this time evaluation, if you see, this time evaluations we have to go give this time evaluation 1 month back. Okay, so the month from which this retro is going to effect. So this is actually the things. So this is earliest personally retroactive date. So from which date this action has been taken, that I was talking about now, with effective from a certain date. So it can run up to this. Accounted to, so when this will be actually auto generated. Okay, so when we exit the payroll, this is auto generated. So don't account after a certain date. Okay, don't account after a certain date. Like take for example in uh, uh, we can see this both run payroll up to and this. Suppose in some of the case we that HR has to go for full and final settlement for certain kind of employees, like in case of an absconding employees. Okay, who take French leave without permission for 2 3 months, and one fine day he approach the company, you just make a full and final settlement. So when there is a full and final settlement, then after that there is no payroll process after that. This tells about this. So another important thing, that this personal no lock and lock, it has to be that we can go that we can see this, then after that we have to lock it. Once all the partner numbers are successfully processed, we have to exit the payroll, else we cannot generate the report. Okay. So suppose employee partner one employee is absconding, his payroll cannot be processed in that case. Okay, we need to log this also. Okay, suppose a person is not reporting uh, the company for a long time, in that case what happens, his payroll has to be logged here, else from month to month the payroll will be processed. Okay, so we discussed about like that time evaluation as well. Then this is the info type actually, 580 to 88, these are related to income tax details. Okay, so what is this previous employer details? Why previous employer details are required? There is certain reasons. There are certain reasons, like take for example, so a person is joining in the middle of the uh, somewhere in, suppose this is the month of March, it is year ending. One person is joining the company in the month of August, whereas he has already worked in the previous company for 3 4 months. So if any sort of like kind of tax has been deducted from the salary, so how much salary he has got, he has received, how much salary, how much deduction has been taken place, has been taken place against his the name and that PAN. So all details have to be provided, so that at the end of the financial year, when Form 16 is generated by the employer, so the employer has to incorporate the whole 12 months, that salary details and tax detail in the report. So that is why actually the company needs this previous employer details. Okay, so you can see salary as per the provisions 70 under section 17(1), value of mercury. We just have a just go through that professional tax deducted, funds, provident fund deducted, income tax deducted, inclusive case and such. So all these things have to be seen. Okay, just have a look. Then we can have a like housing details. So as we know that company gives certain kind of allowances, like that is called HRA, house rent allowances. It is giving. Okay, it is normally it is uh, tax exempted. Okay, if it is tax exempted, it has to tax exempted. There should be tick mark here. Okay, accommodation time, whether it's a rented one. This has to whether it's a metro region or non-metro region, because it is and that affects the cost of living. Therefore, allowances is more becomes less or more. Okay, all these details have to be given here. Then there is another info type that is called 0582. This is related to the different types of like it is related to leave travel allowances, medical allowances, child education allowances, child hostel allowances, and generic tax exemptions. So if some allowances are there, okay, like these are the like the education, child's education, child's hostel, all these things. These all this can be that recorded here. Okay, so that because we are using different info types for recording, for keeping the data stored in under certain info types, so that at the time of form 16. Okay, so report form 16 is generated very smoothly, and it helps if there is issues here. Actually, we are not able to maintain the data properly, so our form 16 will be a problem, and return will be also a problem. So we have to, it is very sensitive issue. So the HR, the even if the consultant has to work in coordinations with the consultant has to work in coordinations with the consultant has to work in coordinations with HR operations team and finance team. Okay, he has to guide, so for maintenance of these data. So then next 583 is for car and the conveyance allowances. Car and conveyance allowances. Some of the companies has certain kind of provisions to provide car facilities to the employees under the categories. Sometimes what happens, the company provides certain kind of amount, say let's say for example 5 lakhs for a managers. Okay, and if a car cost more than that, maybe the employee himself put money and buy it. Okay, for that actually there is a, this is a kind of like availing OYC. Yes, this is employer owned, you can see. So employer provide 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs something, or depending on the designations labels provides, and he can take. So it is, so maybe certain kind of agreement will be there. Once the employee completes 5 years of terms, after that he can get the car fully. Okay, so this is the provisions actually. For 5 years the car is company's property. After that it can be employees property. After that perquisite tax is added to IT when the employee gets benefit under this. So then there can be benefit, it can be treated after that. Then we can see this actually it has to actually 584. It has to be 584 actually. Okay, this has to be 584. For type 584, income from other sources, like you can see that property, income from property. So if the person is self-occupying a house, his own property, his HRA will be exempted. If it is he is given that partly he is giving on rent, he is getting an income out of this, or wholly he has given on rent and he is generating a an income from the property, so this property will be added to the total income, and and tax will be imposed on it as per the that income tax rules. So this is for this income from other sources 584. Then 80C, there is actually, and there are certain provisions, certain deductions are also there, like 80C, like deduction like PPF, EPF, LIC, equity linked savings schemes, okay, principal amount paid towards home loan, stamp duty, registration for property, Sukanya, NSC, senior citizen savings schemes, ULIP paid taxes, all these things. There are so many things are there. You can see the provisions are there. Okay, like payment towards a life insurance policy, contribution to superannuation fund, so subscription to notified central government securities, you leave subscription to approved equity shares, debentures, approved. So all these things information have to be like recorded under this 0586. So then we can go for this 58 is 5 section 80, other than it is other than 80C or rest of the things like certain pension funds, medical insurance premium, non-senior citizens, then medical insurance premium, medical insurance premium, okay, all these things, provident health checkups, preventive health checkups, medical insurance, uh, that expenditures for senior citizens, all these things have to be covered under this. So the very purpose of that of this discussion is that as an end, as a consultant, the consultant has to support sometimes to the end users and the operations team, HR operation teams, even if the finance teams, so that they can maintain the data properly, so that this form 16 be generated properly. So 588 other statutory deductions like ESI deductions, labor welfare deductions, professional tax eligibility, so professional tax, okay, minimum wages for bonus, PF, okay, so all these things statutory deductions, ESI, all these things can be also deduct here. Okay, so these are the various aspects that we discussed about. These things actually the HR consultant, basically SAP consultant must know and help the concerned end users to maintain data. Thank you very much.